Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Danny on Joystick Junkies from Out of the Box Sports, powered by Out of the Box Joystick Junkies. I apologize from Out of the Box Sports. I have Paul again as a guest. How you doing, Paul? How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Doing fantastic. How's
Yeah,
it going,
so
champs?
pretty good, man. Pretty good, man. We're going to talk about two newer games that came out today: Diablo 4, which I've been playing a ton of, and then Street Fighter 6. Everybody knows Street Fighter, especially the old school gamers. I remember playing in the arcade, but yeah, let's start with Diablo 4. I know you haven't played it, Paul, but a lot of
Nope.
people know the Diablo franchise from Diablo 1. Obviously, is much different than the newer ones because it's next gen and everything. But some people don't know Diablo 4 is an RPG game. Where you build skills and you're fighting demons and stuff like that. In this one, you're trying to fight against Lilith, which is she created sanctuaries basically between heaven and earth, heaven and
Hmm.
hell. So basically, she created it, and it's called the Mother of Hatred. That's the antagonist that you're fighting. So, but obviously, it's a grind game. It's about getting loot, getting gear, and like me, I have like a sorceress. So the builds you
Hmm.
could do are like a sorcerer, a barbarian, a rogue, which is a rogue, a druid, which is all like you could like turn into a bear or turn into a werewolf, and
Okay.
necromancer, where you're
Hmm.
basically a necromancer. So you use like basically the advantage of that is you could use skeletons as warriors as defenders. So,
Okay.
but Diablo 4 is a lot of fun. Some people don't like because of the grind, but I think they've done an excellent job. Obviously, it looks great.
Okay.
So I've been having a lot of fun on it. But are there any questions you have about it since
Well,
you haven't really
let
played
me
it?
let me ask you this, because like there's so many elements of it that modern games have kind of lifted off of, like the infinite dungeons and things like that.
Yeah.
But when it comes right down to it, the bread and butter, I'm feeling Gauntlet. Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't it like somewhat of the multiplayer aspect, it's a bit more
Yes.
complex, but it's Gauntlet,
Yeah.
right?
It's like that. It's similar, I would say.
Okay.
It's basically an RPG, RPG.
Hmm.
So you're using powers, you're using magic, you're using you know, all type, all types of stuff like that, and basically you upgrade skills. This game, it's about gear. Your gear really
Mm.
determines the powers you have and matches up with your skills. So
Okay.
certain gear, basically, that's about getting loot, getting gear, and then upgrading your gear. And you really want to get legendaries. That's like the best stuff to get. But
Hmm.
but I think it is like Gauntlet. That is an older game, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very old. So I can't say I play a
1984.
lot of it, but I've played a lot of it, and I was like 5 in 1984. So
Yeah, it
so
was it
s
was, I guess a more modern take would be Gauntlet Legends. You could think of
yeah,
it like Gauntlet Legends, and Gauntlet Legends had more RPG aspects than the
yeah,
original did. The original was just like, you had life, and if you didn't have life, you fed quarters until you did. That was it.
yeah, because it's
Um,
an arcade game.
that's absolutely
Yeah,
right.
I like old
Gauntlet
school
Legends
arcade.
was also an arcade game, but it also allowed you to save your character
Yeah,
and build it up, and yeah,
yeah,
so that's, I guess that's what I go to, what I think of, and I suppose that I liked it when it was a little simpler and a little more action based
yes,
than what goes on with Diablo. I think that's probably why I bounced off of Diablo when I tried it,
yeah,
was it
like
just didn't.
yeah. I think like the difference is like Diablo 1 I've never played. That's like kind of way different than
Hmm.
2. 2 I've played, and 2
Okay.
the progression system's much slower. You level up much slower. After the main game, it's
Yeah.
really desolate, the game. It's
Hmm.
really that's the thing. People love to because it's classic, and I like it, but the pace, I don't like the pace of it. Like, the pace is
Hmm.
very slow. It's a big time grind to level up your character all the way. I
Gotcha.
like it. It's great, but it's more of it's more of an old school style. It's all in like isometric view. It's like in the same
Right.
view, and they remastered it. It's excellent, but Diablo 3 I like better because it's a little simpler, but it's a little different. You basically in Diablo 3. Go ahead. Are you gonna say something?
I wanted to touch on actually the distance between Diablo 3 and 4. So we're talking about
10
11
years,
or
something like that. Over 10 years,
over 10 years at least.
something like that. Yeah, close. Yeah, decade
Yeah,
or
I I
more. Very
I
close to it.
something
Yes.
came up in my Facebook
Yep.
memories about me talking about that somebody in Orange County didn't riot because they were too busy playing Diablo 3.
Yeah.
So, that was
Yeah.
in 2012, so whatever that was about.
Yeah. It's
Probably the
more
Clippers.
exactly. It's more than 10 years ago. So it's a big gap in between.
Yeah.
But I still think it's pretty solid. The first Diablo I played was 3. So me,
Okay.
I'm more used to 3, and 3 is a lot of fun. Like I did Barbarian in 3, I did Necromancer in 3. Um, you know, after you reach like level 50, you have a Paragon system where you have a
Mm,
Paragon board. Like and they're like expansive boards where you're going for glyphs, you're going for more skills, and that's like end game stuff. Uh,
mm,
so Diablo 4, like it's all about like you want to get to level 50, and then you have the Paragon system, which is a different level up system. And a lot of the end game is about dungeons and world bosses and nightmare dungeons and more real difficult stuff. You're only at the start of world tier 1 or 2, which is difficult, but then they have
okay,
world tier 3, world tier 4, which every level is more and more difficult. Like you have people that are
okay.
like level 90, level 100. Me, I'll probably never get up to that level
Wow,
because
okay.
there are some people, when you stream a game, when you do that, they finish the whole game. They're like a level 100. But there are
Mm,
also the people that play the hardcore, where you die, your game's over. So you get all the way to level
yeah,
60, and you die, and you have to start all over again. Me, I don't do that type of stuff.
I
I don't
it
want to
is
lose my
really
character,
hard
lose
to
all the
pl
work I did.
it is extremely hard to play roguelikes. I get it. Like
Yeah,
that, because that's pretty much what it comes down to. Well, it's a roguelike with permadeath.
yeah,
That's pretty, yeah. So I get
similar,
it.
similar to a roguelike, I guess like a roguelike would like be that Hades game. You ever hear that game?
Oh, yes,
It's like
yes.
top down. I would say it's similar, but this is more RPG. But it's a lot of fun. It's a grind, obviously. But the
Sure.
campaign is probably the best part of the game. But I
Okay.
go back and forth. I do campaign side missions. I'll go back and forth and back and forth until
Okay.
you really find the right gear. You really want to approach it that way. Once you find the right gear, the characters be incredibly powerful, like sometimes overpowered. And so, but it's a whole lot of fun if you like RPGs, if you like building
Okay.
up your character, if you like using magic or using a sorcerer. Uh, but season 1 is not even out yet, like the seasonal stuff. And
Okay.
the people are complaining about is the seasonal stuff. You have to redo all the renown in all the areas. So you
Mm,
have to like start an online seasonal character and then you get seasonal rewards and stuff like that. And the seasons haven't even started yet. And people have already finished the game. Like me, I probably won't finish the game just yet until then. But
okay.
if you like RPGs, it's a lot of fun and I really enjoy the game. So
Okay. I'm definitely considering it. It hasn't, like, there isn't one option on it. I mean, that, like, I I don't know. I guess I don't have a really good track record with Blizzard games. That could be part
yeah,
of the thing.
I
Like,
gotcha.
I
Yeah.
yeah, not to go too into the weeds, but, like, I worked
Mm-mm.
with a lot of the folks that worked over there, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been hesitant to give them money. It's just how I roll.
That's how it is sometimes. Sometimes sometimes a developer rubs fans the wrong way and stuff like that, and some people don't trust them until they gain their trust back. The odd
Yeah.
Diablo games, I will say they do a good job in, but
Okay.
but the World of Warcraft players do a lot also have a relationship with Blizzard. And
Well,
it's up and down sometimes because there's been so many versions of that game. And there's a lot of people that love that as well. Me, it's
yeah.
not really my thing, but it's still huge.
I
But
think I
go
think that as far as Blizzard goes, it's not the quality or caliber of their games that I have a
no,
problem with.
yeah, they make good
It's not.
quality stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely not that.
Yeah,
That's not it.
Yeah, I got you.
But yeah, I like, I'm like, public airwaves. I don't know that I want to air this, but yeah, they just don't have the best history. And quite
I
frankly,
get what you're saying.
I I mean I worked in an industry that had just like immense sexual predators in it, and it's really sad.
I
Uh,
get,
I,
yeah, I get what you're saying. There's always like sometimes companies don't do what they're supposed to do when someone does wrong,
that's
and or
right.
holding someone accountable, something like that. So I totally get that. You sometimes a company makes the wrong decision or something like that. Especially when it involves more serious stuff, it kind of turns you away like, oh, I don't want to give them anything. Not that they make a
Yeah,
bad product, not everyone there is bad, but I totally get your point. So I get what
we
you're saying.
I as a former game developer, I just want to say like there was a lot of stuff that went wrong,
Yeah,
and
in the past.
and I wish I could apologize for it, but I'm not even in the position because I
I
know that
understand.
I've yeah just
No, no, I
horrible.
get what you're saying. It's like that. Some developers have done certain things where just you don't agree with it and you don't want to support their whatever. But
Yeah,
but lately it's been all right. But in the past, some stuff has happened. Just the way it goes. You know what I'm saying?
fair enough.
So I get what you're saying. But I like RPGs, so I
Yeah,
I got the
it's
game. I
it's kind of
obviously
hard
make make me a bad
like what
person.
else have you got? You got Square Enix, right?
Yeah.
Like
Well,
where
Square
else are you gonna
Enix
go?
just released Final Fantasy 16 is coming up like next week. If you're a Final Fantasy
Ooh, are you
fan,
excited?
yeah, I don't have a PS5 though, so
That is also a
it
an
looks
ailment
good.
that I have.
Yeah, it looks good. I don't know. Maybe I'll ask for one for my birthday
Hmm.
and go on because you can actually get one these days. Finally,
So wait, 16, school me up on this. This uh is this an online Final Fantasy?
no, it's like an
Okay, so this is a
RPG one.
regular mainline Final Fantasy.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
Does that mean 17 is gonna be like online?
I have no idea to be honest. Like the
Okay.
the Final Fantasy I played the most are uh 8, 9, and 10.
Oh,
Like
okay.
PlayStation 1.
Right. No, the eight and nine are PlayStation 1, and 10
Yeah, I
is
think it's
2.
8 and 9. The one I had 4 discs, 4 CDs. The first one I had. It was on
Yeah.
PlayStation. It was a black disc, the PS1. It was like
The
a
only thing
weird
that I
color.
ever remember about Final Fantasy 8 is draw.
Yeah.
Draw,
Yep.
draw, draw.
Yeah, I always liked the attacks, all the attacks you would do.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Dave? What's going on, Dave
What's
Yarnell
up, sir?
from So what's up, Dave? What's going on, man? Hope
Yeah,
all
man,
is
if
well.
you have any questions regarding Diablo 4, which we've already covered, feel free to ask. We'll be happy to answer as
I don't know
best
if
we can. Well,
I don't
Danny
even
will.
Dave even plays games or not.
Oh, it's true. It's true.
I have no idea. I know he's a Cowboys fan. I know he's on extra innings tomorrow
Ah,
on
okay.
Tuesdays. But I don't know if he plays any stuff. Does any stuff that I do. But Diablo
Hmm.
4 is, like I said, a lot of fun. Like me, I don't play it like other people play it. I play it for 2 or 3 hours at a time, and that's it. There are people
Sure.
that'll like go through like play for 12 hours straight. Me, I can't sit at my computer that long. You know.
Hmm.
So
Fair
maybe
enough.
that kind of gets uncomfortable. That's why sometimes I'll play it on. That's why I was conflicted. Do I get it on console? Do I get it on PC? Good thing I got it on PC because it didn't run well on console at first. Some games
Hmm.
don't, especially newer games. Street Fighter, other game we're talking about, ran fine. But I'm gonna do a sponsor real quick.
Oh yeah, do it.
Um, we're gonna do this one first. 1-800-HURT-123. Our Big Al Jason Fine. If you ever have a motor vehicle accident, slip and fall, workers' comp, personal injury claims, any kind of legal trouble where you're looking for assistance, looking for some representation, you can call Jason directly at 267-962-4895 or Meiko at 267-303-7324 for a free consultation. Meiko covers the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area. They also cover Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and they cover the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area. So if you ever need any help legal wise, Need some representation, like I said, call Wayne Hunter Hurt 123. Attorney Big Al Jason Fine. Now they're coming here. Eileen says hi, you too. Hi, Eileen. How you
Hi,
doing?
Eileen.
Hope all is well to you on this Monday. It's a much nicer day than last week with all the forest fire smoke down here
Goodness.
that we had to have. It was like orange for 2 days.
I having grown up in the Southern California area, man, I know fire.
Yeah,
Fire is not good.
you know exactly what it is, and it's because people set fires, But it's actually a nice day today,
Nice.
so not too bad out finally. We're just talking
Okay.
about Diablo 4. No, we're gonna talk about Street Fighter 6 as well, which is
That's right.
also
Who want a blood
pretty
dance with
solid.
me?
So I will I'll have to get Street Fighter 6 and see if I could beat you in a match, Paul.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. So
Even though
Street
I haven't
Fighter
played it in so
6
long.
Street Fighter 6 is, once again, we're in the Street Fighter universe. We've got Ryu, we've got Chun-Li, we've got Ken, we've got
Yep.
Dalsum, we've
Yep.
got Zangief. All the classics are there. Even E Honda is a freaking beast in this
Is
game.
Blanca in there?
Yes, he is.
I love Blanca. I always like Blanca.
Um,
Blanca.
he's there in his full glory, man. He's dope. And he has a stage, the Blanca stage, and it's classic motif from the Street Fighter 2 days.
Yeah.
But like there's a guy in a Blanca mascot outfit. It's great.
It's pretty
It's
funny.
great. You have to
That's
check it
pretty
out.
funny. I would definitely. That's
But
pretty funny.
but this game, there's one thing that they kind of stretched out from 5
Mhm.
and moved it into proper with 6. It's basically the return of the parry system from Third Strike, and you're
Yeah.
using both of your medium buttons to do it. You've got a gauge that burns down when you do
Yeah.
it, and you have that's called your overdrive gauge,
Yeah.
and that's the same gauge where you can do like what used to be your EX moves in Third Strike.
Yep.
You do it through that bar, and if you blow out that bar, you suffer what's called burnout,
Yep.
which is this period where you have to endure without being able to use those moves. You can still use a super art, but you
Yep.
can't use EX, you can't use overdrive moves,
So you're
basically.
limited a little bit
You are limited,
for a
but
time.
it's nice because you still have the ability to come back from it. At least it doesn't
Yeah.
completely burn you out.
Mhm.
But I haven't really fully jumped into the new character set yet. I played a little bit of Luke. I've
Yeah.
played a bit of World Tour mode, although I'd like to revisit the start of it again just to play around with the customization options.
Yeah.
But like it's a lot of fun. You're definitely getting RPG aspects. It feels
Yeah.
like
Because you build the character.
When you play World Tour mode, it's like it feels very much like the Yakuza Like a Dragon games.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah. I
much
know what you're
into
saying.
that vein.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. I played those.
Yeah, so but instead of it being, like you end up in like 2v2 or 1v3 fights
Oh,
side by
interesting.
side. Yeah, that's what happens when you do World Tour mode. That like the
That's
dramatic
interesting.
battles happen.
I got a
But
comment
it's
here. T-Ross says
oop,
raining in Delaware Valley. We need it. Yeah, we do need some rain.
oh man, I feel that we just had rain yesterday here in Southern California in the LA County area. Give it all to y'all. Go for it. A little damp. It's a little damp.
Now I have a
But that's
question
okay.
about Street Fighter 6. Is
Go
like
for it.
the arenas that you fight in, is it some of the stuff like breakable, like the surrounding like
Oh man, you are not gonna like
what
my
I'm saying, like
answer.
throw someone through a wall or throw someone through a bunch of crates or that kind of stuff.
You're not
You
gonna
know,
like my answer to this at all.
uh-oh.
I have proven, I have watched it, I have seen it by playing other people on other social media
Hmm.
platforms.
Yeah,
The stages are different depending on who you are.
I gotcha.
For instance, I'm playing and I'll see Blanca's stage.
Hmm.
And the person that I'm fighting is in the training zone.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Same
Yeah.
fight, but yeah, there is no like it's a I wouldn't be so harsh to call it a straight up bitmap, but that's how it feels. It
Yeah, I get what
feels
you're saying.
like it's just tacked on. You're not really immersed in it because I
Yeah,
think
you're in
I
front of it.
think the reason why they did that
Yeah.
is to try and mitigate some of the speed,
Hmm.
the connectivity issues with multiplayer. I think
Yeah.
that's where they probably decided, like, okay, it doesn't really matter what stage you're in.
Yeah.
Nobody really calls it out in the game.
No,
It's
it's more like
just
old school. It's more like how it used to be when it first came out. It was just a background, basically, and you're fighting
well,
in front of it, kind of.
I mean, yeah. If we're going to Street Fighter 2, they had you were either going to break into boxes or break into barrels.
I
But
got you.
yeah, yeah. In this one, you don't break into anything. Nothing like that
Yeah, I
happens.
should have said the
Everything in the
environment. That's what I should have the word I was
Yeah,
looking for.
the environments are pretty.
Oh
Like
yeah, I've seen it.
they're
Yeah, they are pretty. They
they
do look
just
good.
don't connect with you at all.
Yeah, it doesn't
There's
immerse
nothing
you.
that connects the players and the environment at all.
I got. Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. So it doesn't make it a bad game. It's just one aspect of forever either creative design differences or to get it to run better. Because
It's
sometimes they
yeah,
have a feature in there where it'll cause it to not run very well, especially on
yeah,
console.
exactly. I think it has everything to do with them trying to find ways to make it run better. And
Yeah,
this was definitely one of those compromises. Is
yeah, it
It's
definitely
probably at the design level, I'm sure.
says Dave Ross says Ken is my man in Street Fighter 1 and 2. Yeah, baby.
So what you're saying is you played a lot with a friend in Street Fighter 1 because
Probably
that's the
that's what
only
I
way you
did.
could play as Ken.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Okay. Yeah, that's well, Street Fighter 1 is okay, so going way back when, let me ask you, did you the name of the previous person who was that?
Dave, Dave
Dave.
Yarnell, Dave.
Dave, did you play with the pneumatic buttons or did you play with the six? Because with the pneumatic buttons, it mattered how hard you hit the damn thing.
You're talking about like in the actual arcade.
Yes.
Yes, that's
Street
yeah.
Fighter 1 had like
The
straight
circle
up like gas
buttons.
powered buttons.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. I I could never I could never have played with no. Like
No, I
that
couldn't have done
seems
that
so
either.
silly.
That
But
says
believe it
I
was the
believe it was a
6.
6.
Okay. Okay.
Six, the
That
six
makes
button. You talking
yeah,
about arcade or a 6-button controller?
it would be that would be 6 buttons in the arcade that you'd be talking
Yeah,
about. The Street
one.
Fighter
Yeah, 3 on the
1
top,
did
3 on the bottom. Yes,
yeah. I mean
with the
the
joystick.
only thing that we got on the home side for that was Fighting Street for the TurboGrafx CD, and
Yeah,
that was 2 buttons.
yeah,
So, oh man, I'm digging
yeah.
into that
Arcade.
well. My
Yeah, the
goodness.
6 buttons. You had 3 on the top, 3 on the bottom.
Yep.
I
And
think
they
the
had
3 on
that
the
set
top were
up
like
for
upper.
Champion for
Yeah,
Champion in the PC Engine, but yeah, not for Fighting Street. No, that was
no,
2 buttons.
because I remember that's the first time I played Street Fighter was in the arcade, like with the
Mm,
6. The 6
okay.
had the joystick,
Yep.
and that's the way I really learned to play that game. But back in the day, you couldn't really. It was tough to put it on a console or that was the arcade cabinet where I played it the most probably.
Mm. Yeah, the one thing that was kind of like the difference between 1 and 2 as far as super moves
Yep.
was like a revelation because in 2 they used what I've heard referred to as the piano keys method, which is you
Interesting.
can like if you do
I know what you're saying. You play it like a piano almost, like
well
your where you tap your fingers on the buttons.
right. So for Street Fighter 1, the only time that a move could be executed like a Hadouken or a Shoryuken is to release the button.
Oh, I
After
gotcha.
you do the move, release
Hmm.
the button.
Yep.
So when you're playing in Street Fighter, it's both way or Street Fighter 2, it's both ways. It's piano. So down is one strike. Lift is another strike.
Oh, that's interesting. I
So
gotcha.
that's how when you see people who are playing Guile, for instance, and they're backing up and they hit a button forward and they've got they've done a Sonic Boom, and then they come back, and then they release it Sonic Boom.
Yep.
That's how they're doing it.
Dave says he
I
was
was
never
never
Ryu.
a Ryu guy.
I
That's
was.
okay.
Yeah, I
Leave him to
was.
me.
I like Blanca I like Blanca the most. Uh oh, what's up, Ika? What's up, fellas? Sakura and Kami were my favorites. Damn, they were hot Japanese anime characters.
Lord. Of course you would go there,
Yeah,
sir.
of course, of course, of course.
Good
Of
job.
course, that's how all the anime characters are. They're always like, busty and like
So,
that's how they all look.
so we didn't really get a Sakura character uh in 6. I think we got
Really?
something close to it, but
Yeah.
I would almost say that Luke is like the closest thing you're going to get to a
Yeah.
Sakura character.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do
that's
notice that. Yeah, but me, I would play more the older characters than the newer ones.
sure.
You wanna see what they're like, if they're the same as they were or slightly different, then you'll delve into the newer characters.
So
The newer ones.
when I played when I like this was obviously years and years ago, but when I worked at
Hmm.
Obsidian, we would play Third Strike on our lunch breaks for QA all the time.
Yep.
And I would play as Ryu, and people would get really, really sick of me using the super art Denjin Hadouken. And in Street Fighter 6, they gave Ryu his own like Denjin meter. Like
Oh, really?
if you press down twice and punch, he'll
Hmm.
kind of brush himself a little bit, and
Yeah.
you'll see this like blue aura. And then at
Yeah.
that point, his next fireball, whether it's a super art or a regular fireball, is a Denjin electric. So
Oh, really?
it can't be naturally blocked.
Oh man, that's tough. Must be tough to go against them like that.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like. It seems like there's certain like abilities or powers some of the characters have, rather than just straight fighting their style like it was in 1 and 2 and 3.
Well, the other thing that I noticed, and I know I'm leaning on Ryu here, but he's got a move that I've only seen Dan pull off before,
Yeah.
which is that like short Hadouken that's like stationary.
Yeah, I know not where he's like jumping or something like that. He's just standing still.
No, it's a standing reverse Hadouken.
Oh, really? Okay, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
and it basically it's akin to doing a yoga flame.
Yeah.
But you're Ryu, so it comes off like Dan instead.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Um,
Yeah.
but they've got little tweaks and nuances like that that I absolutely love. I'm still getting used to the concept of drive counters. Those
Yeah, what is
are
that exactly?
so drive counters are the mechanic is if you've got a punch or a kick that's coming into you,
Yeah.
you hold or you press high punch and high kick, fierce and roundhouse,
Yep.
and at the same time, and you will execute a drive counter in which you will like turn really pretty colors and then smack the other guy in like a not like a QTE, but almost like it. It'll stop
Yeah.
the match for like a half second, and then you can execute a combo off of
It's
that.
almost like a counter kind
It is a
of
counter,
in a way,
drive
yeah.
counter. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so
So
it
that's
pauses you and
that
stops him, you just drive through his attack and then throws him off, and then you do whatever other attack you
exactly.
want, yeah.
Yeah, I've been able to get the timing down sometimes when I'm playing folks online,
Yeah.
but the thing that you probably even noticed this in the beta. Oh my goodness, the throws.
Yeah, the throws are pretty I was trying to, like, get the hang of that. I'm like, I had to try it, like, a bu just to get it right. You have to get, like, the timing right, it seems. And you
It's
gotta
very
practice
much a
that.
timing thing.
Yep.
It's also down to a button now where you can
Makes it a little
for
easier.
people who are playing on a controller, it's a left trigger.
Okay, that's
And
not
then if they hit left trigger, then they do the grab.
okay.
And it makes fights like you just trade off who is aware that the other person is going to grab.
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
and it's That has been obnoxious for over a decade. I
Yeah, right.
really don't like it.
Yeah, they didn't really change it, did they? They kind of put
Yeah.
the same type of thing in there, you know?
Do we need to do another ad break?
Yes. Yeah, I'll do it this
Oh,
after.
sweet. All right, do it. What? I'm by myself?
Sorry about that. Apologize. Little error at the moment. Mugcocoffee.com. They make excellent gourmet specialty flavor infused coffee. They have a bourbon chocolate chip and now a new toasted coconut rum. They make an excellent product, excellent coffee. I love their coffee. Always have coffee, everyone, because I'm a big coffee drinker. Unlike my co-host Paul here. Uh,
Yep.
but I drink a lot of coffee and I love their coffee. So use the promo code OOTB Sports at the checkout to get 10% off. Also remember 10% of each sale goes to the National Pediatric Foundation to find a cure for pediatric cancer. It's an important cause, so just keep in mind every purchase 10% goes to that. Um, they lost someone very close to them in 2008, Robin Ray Larson. So always keep her in your thoughts and memory, and hopefully they can find a cure for this. But pick up your Monkey Cold Coffee today at monkeycoldcoffee.com. They make T-shirts, travel mugs, the cold brew mixer, and it looks like a coffee filter, which is probably one of the last things I have to get. So once again, use the promo code OTB Sports at the checkout, monkeycoldcoffee.com, to get 10% off of your order. Got a comment here. Dave Ross says, which one did you guys like better, Street Fighter 1 or 2?
2
2.
by a country mile.
Yep, 2 by far. Two's probably the best one in the series.
I will say that I have played through the entirety of Street Fighter 1
Yeah, me
and
too. Yeah.
it's okay. I mean, like I I will say that it took me until I was in my late 30s until I realized that everybody in England was a golf pun. It didn't I'm like, okay, so birdie, all right, fine. Eagle? Okay. I get it now. Duh.
Yep.
Didn't pick up on that when I was a kid, no, but late 30s? Yep.
Yeah, you
Sure,
always
sure
pick
enough.
you always pick up on stuff. You're like, oh, like me, I go back and play like Street Fighter. I can play fine, but other old games I can't. I'm still bad at them because I haven't played them in so long. I totally forgot.
Mm,
I'm not used to the simple controls. 2 buttons and a directional.
yep. I
You know
feel
what I'm
it.
saying? Or 3 buttons and a directional. You know? Yep.
Keep it simple.
Yep.
Keep it simple.
NES. I haven't used one of those controllers in forever. But some people use different grips with those controls. Some people use like over the top with their fingers or use your
Oh
thumbs
yeah.
instead. Like some I
This
see some.
this move,
Yep.
this move.
Yeah, like you ever
Yeah.
see like people that play like Tetris with it? They have all these
The
different like
rolling technique.
the rolling
There's
technique
a
and like there's all these different types of like ways they could do stuff the fastest, especially with the old school stuff.
there's a particular guy on TikTok that I follow named Miles the Great, and Miles does the rolling method, and it's absolutely nuts what you can do with it.
Yeah,
But like the
I
guy
could do it.
wears a white glove, and I'm like, okay, Michael Jackson, whatever. You don't have to
A
be
white
flashy about
glove.
it, but whatever.
I don't know what the purpose of that is, but
He says that it reduces friction to wear a glove, something like that. So okay,
I
I'm
guess.
I
Oh,
I definitely haven't been able to pick that. Like I don't know if it's the fact that like I have really large fingers or what, but I can't imagine being able to do what he does. Like it, I just can't physically do it.
probably took him a lot of practice too.
Fair enough, I'm sure.
Yeah, there are some people that use certain like grips on controls. Like me, I have to like try and modify it because I have trouble with my hands a little bit, like range of motion wise. So I
Okay,
have to like almost have to like I have to like get either different type of controller or because I got like the 8-bit duo. I don't know if you've seen those 8-bit duos. You
a
probably
bit
have
do.
you have one for a different system. Yep. Mine is just for Xbox. It looks just
Oh, okay.
that looks just like that gray one. It's
Okay.
got the extra buttons on the bottom, so it makes it a little easier for me to play something because
Like these?
yes, it's the exact one, but it's black.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Got it.
yeah, but it's for Xbox instead or PC, one or the other.
I think PC is the only one that lets you map those buttons that
You
are
can
on
map them.
the
Yes,
palms.
you can map
Yeah.
them. Yes, yeah, you can
You
map
can't
them.
on the Xbox, but you can on PC. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's for PC and Xbox. It's for
Yeah.
both. It's like dual. And I
The
like it. It's
the
pretty
controller
solid.
can be used for both, but not the mapping. Oh, the mapping is only PC.
Yes. Oh no, for me, I could do it on Xbox.
Really?
Yeah,
I'll have to look into that. It wasn't working
mine
for me.
plugs in.
Oh.
It's actually not. It's got a phone app you use.
Oh.
It's like you
Okay.
connect it to your phone and change it.
That's
It's
weird.
not through the
But
console.
okay.
It's through the phone itself. Like there's an app.
Hmm.
It's called the 8-bit Duo like app, and you can like map the buttons and swap everything or something like that. You have a couple different profiles you can use. I think it's pretty cool.
Huh. I'm gonna have to look into that because mine is connected via Bluetooth, and I'd love to be able to map it, but I use a Mister, so
Yeah,
I'm
I know.
using something that doesn't normally map those buttons, and
Yeah,
I
this
can't
is a
map them to
separate,
them.
totally separate like app by itself. I'll
Hmm.
take a screenshot of it and show you what it looks like.
Okay.
So hold on a sec. All right, guys, I have to go. Dave says, "Great show. Enjoy your day. Street Fighter 1, 2, great games. Ken is the man."
All right, Dave. 2-player. Feel it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go. Who made Street Fighter 6? Capcom.
Capcom. It was always a Capcom game. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Capcom is pretty solid. They've always made great stuff. Capcom over the years.
So is it? I'm gonna put on my game historian hat on
All
and
right.
say that one of the producers of Street Fighter 2 was also the creator of not only Time Pilot but Gyrus,
Really?
Okamoto-san.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Interesting. That's interesting.
He went on to do, like, after Konami fired him for not making a racing game, because
Yeah.
that was Konami back then.
Yeah.
He went on to do 1942
Oh,
and Gunsmoke.
are you talking about Battlefield 1942
No,
or
we're
a different
talking
one?
about the shooter, the
Oh, okay.
arcade shooter 1942
I know what
vert
you're talking
shooter.
about. Yeah.
Yeah, and then after that, the game, another game that's a vert shooter that you might have heard of,
Hmm.
Gunsmoke.
I've heard of that. Yes.
Yeah, Gunsmoke. So,
Yep.
he went up in the Capcom ranks. I think the last game that he designed was a game called Forgotten Worlds for the
Yeah.
arcade. But then he went on to be a producer, and yeah, so on in history. But yeah, Okamoto-san was the guy that designed Gyrus. So
It's
props to
quite
that
interesting.
dude. Yep.
That's definitely information I would not know.
All right, cap
Definitely not.
off.
But it's always nice to. But you've worked for Obsidian, so
I have.
you probably know a lot of devs or people worked in the industry itself. So that would
I
that
know of a
makes
few.
perfect
Yeah.
sense. You definitely have more insider knowledge than me. Obsidian made some
It's
great stuff.
more just that I soak it up like a sponge, dude. That's
Yeah,
really
right. And you
it.
just don't forget it. Do you ever think about like going back to that type of profession, or do you not want to go back to that?
So I thought about it, and like I have game ideas that
Hmm.
nobody's doing.
Yeah.
I brought it up in our last stream, but I want to just throw it out again here. The thought is, have a game that takes all of the shoot 'em up tropes,
Hmm.
like Gradius,
Yep.
like Salamander,
Yep.
uh Gunsmoke, all of the go to Space Harrier.
Yeah.
Give me my rail shooter. Give me my Star Fox. Put them in a blender of procedurally generated levels that change genre depending on what you choose to do in the game.
That's pretty interesting.
That's what I want to see and nobody's doing it.
It's probably be a
And
big
if
undertaking.
it would be an enormous, the permutations would be absolutely stupid, and I
Yeah.
live for that.
Yeah. What
I
is that exactly?
but okay, so the idea that you could the idea that I had in my mind is where you would play, you would start out a level top down like a convoy shooter, like Space Invaders,
Yep.
and then you would end up grabbing like some kind of power up that would then turn you into a rocket, and you would end up changing your perspective to Space Harrier,
Yeah, I gotcha.
where you're riding on a rocket,
Yep,
and
I
then
gotcha.
you change it again to like a boss fight from Star Fox.
Yeah,
And that's the kind of idea that I had in mind, is something that flows like that, that allows you like 2 to 3 genre transitions, and then you get a boss fight, and those are always going to be different no matter how you play.
sounds like an interesting idea.
That and that would bring me back to games, but instead what I've done is I've gone over the history of video games, and I like what I like, and I just play a
Yeah,
ton of
of
it.
course. Yeah, like that's you find out what you like. Everyone likes something different. Especially some people stick with the old school stuff. You know,
Yep.
like me, I played a lot of the old school stuff, but I've also evolved with each generation of console released. You know, I've played every single Xbox, single PlayStation, you know, every Genesis, 2 or 3 Atari systems,
Hmm.
almost every Nintendo system. So I kind of grew up like in that, like through that whole evolution of consoles. You know, it's
Yep.
so much different than it used to be. You can do so much more.
I remember like my first console wasn't a console. My first game thing was an Atari 800. And
I
it
had a
was and I
2600.
yeah, and I played what was the name of the game? Star Raiders. It was the first like space combat dogfight simulator that you could play.
Yeah,
They had it for the 2600, but you had like
probably.
it was like you had a stick, and then there was like a dial pad that you had to use,
Yeah,
because
I know what you're. That was like a
Atari
different.
did dial
Yeah,
pads for some reason.
yeah. It was like a thing you just turn back and forth, almost like if you were playing like the brick game, you know, where the ball goes back before you got to block it and bounce it
Oh, the
off
paddle?
surface.
You talking
Yeah,
about the
something like
paddle?
that. You like move the thing back and forth.
No. As far as Star Raiders, you were actually supposed to use a keyboard controller with an
Interesting.
overlay that told you what the different buttons in the
Hmm.
game did,
Yeah,
and then you would move with the stick. When it was the computer had like you had a guidebook that told you what all of the different keys did,
yeah,
but you were supposed to press keys on the keyboard to do certain things,
yep,
like H was hyperspace, G was galactic map, things
yeah,
like that.
yeah. I gotcha. Yeah,
Yeah.
now G's grenade a lot of games if it's a shooter.
Press F to pay respects, I think was the joke.
Yeah, that's the thing about computer. You gotta get used to all the buttons and memorize all the buttons. You know, WASD,
Yep.
WASD. I'm used to that. Like with like Diablo doesn't have WASD at the computer. It's the mouse.
Oh yeah.
Wherever you click the mouse the whole, wherever you drag it, it moves. Or point and click, you point to a spot, it runs to the spot. Works well on
That's
controller though. I will say the Diablo games 3 and 4, even
mm,
2 work well on controller, surprisingly. Some people don't prefer that, but it works pretty good.
I almost I'm gonna ask this
Mhm.
stupidly. Do they have a demo?
No, but
Okay.
they had 3 betas.
Mm.
They had a
That's
closed beta, an open beta, and then one last beta. So they had 2 open betas for it. So you're
okay,
able to
but
play
how
like
many of those people didn't already drink the Kool-Aid though?
a lot of people don't until they play it.
Okay. Okay.
Some people do, some people don't, but the people I watch are critical about it and also compliment what they like. Like I don't watch
Okay.
people that are shills, I guess you call it. You know,
Okay.
there are people that are serious players that have real critiques about the game, and
Hmm.
negativities and positives. So there's always two sides to it. But me, I always like to
Hmm.
play something because you know how gaming is today. A lot of games come out unfinished. A lot of games come out unfinished. They come out with issues, and I expect that all the time. That's
Hmm.
kind of expected. And that's because people want to rush their stuff. Now, if there's a
Right.
new game coming out, Starfield, I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
I've heard. I think the only mention of Starfield that I heard about had to do with the frame locking.
Yeah, like Starfield is like the new Bethesda game from Todd Howard,
Oh, okay.
who made all
Okay.
the Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 3, Fallout 4.
Well, hang
That
on. Fallout New Vegas was Obsidian.
Yes, you're right. It was Obsidian. I apologize.
That's okay.
Apologize. Maybe Fallout 3, 4, and 3, 4, and the other. Was 3 Obsidian also?
No.
2.
3 was definitely still Bethesda Softworks.
Okay.
I
New
yeah, I
Vegas was
don't.
Obsidian, and you're correct. I apologize.
That's all right.
Which is one of the better ones. A lot of people like New Vegas. A lot of people want to remaster that game, but I saw the showcase yesterday,
Mm.
and I will say it was pretty impressive, to be
That
honest.
they're doing what was well, okay, you were talking about Starfield,
The
but there's
newer game
another
coming out, yeah.
game that there's another game that I
Star
heard that was
Citizen,
coming out. Well, it's Star
which
Citizen.
is never really released. It's always in like uh what's it called? Some games that are in early access for years and they never
I heard I,
completely finish it.
I heard that Obsidian was actually releasing a game called Avowed or something.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah,
they're
I heard
making a
that that
game
got
called
announced.
Avowed. We saw a little bit of Avowed. I couldn't tell what it was. It looks like kind of an RPG.
It's
Kind of. I
Obsidian. It's got to be.
They had it on. They had a small preview of it yesterday on
Okay,
the game Xbox showcase.
I mean that makes
Uh,
sense.
but like me, I like exploration games, and
Mm,
Starfield is you can build your own spaceships. You can build. It's endless the possibilities. You could travel to planets. You have your main planets, but everything's procedurally generated. There's like 1,000 planets. So you
wow.
could do all types of stuff, combat, RPG stuff, gather resources, build habitats and stuff like that, build ships,
Mm,
ship combat. You could take over ships and make them part of your fleet. Like it's a pretty crazy undertaking, but that's a game I'm looking forward to, which comes out in
nice.
September. But people say whenever a Bethesda game comes out, sometimes it has issues. You know,
Yes.
like the ones that didn't really have issues were the Doom games, like the newer Doom and the Doom Eternal. They
Oh
were
man.
great. They run great.
Hold
Both of those.
on.
I have both of those.
Hold on.
They're
There's
great.
one major problem with the Doom games though.
Yeah,
Their multiplayer absolutely is abhorrent.
I agree with that. Me, I don't play multi.
It's just
I
what?
don't play multiplayer. Like me, I play the campaign. That's the way I've
Okay,
always
but
been.
Doom was the like the start like the original Doom was like the start of the multiplayer deathmatch. So the fact that they decided like, "Oh, we're going to make it so that you can only carry two items like Halo." Like, excuse
Yeah,
me?
that's kind of limits you. You know what I'm saying? And me, I don't
Yeah.
like that. Me, I've never. But also, I played the older Dooms, the campaigns. I haven't played multiplayer. But
Yeah.
you don't want to limit. You don't want to limit. What the players could do, what you can carry. You want to make it similar to the old one and just
Yeah.
a newer kind of version of it. Me, I haven't played the multiplayer. Me, I like the campaign the most. Like any game I
Okay.
play, that's kind of I'm not more really multiplayer like deathmatch. I'm more
Yeah.
campaign, single player. That's kind of
Okay.
like any game I like it to have a campaign.
I
You
would
know,
just say that as far as launches go, Doom was single
very
player.
good.
Yeah, it was
It was
good,
good.
but that's like half the game.
I know. It's the same with the new Halo that came out. People don't like the. It didn't really get. It wasn't as good as people thought it might be. Sometimes you
Yeah.
can't get that feeling back of how it used to be, and it's not bad. But like I said, I don't play a lot of multiplayer. Same with like Destiny. Don't play a lot of multiplayer. I play campaign and stuff like that. Stuff where I could do co-op or something like
Yeah.
that. I suck at
Okay.
online. Online multiplayer, I get killed all the time. I'm horrible at it.
That makes sense to me. So when you do multiplayer, it's co-op. Got it.
if I if I do multiplayer, I want it to be co-op. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Me,
That
I'd
makes
rather
sense to
have it
me.
more like Diablo 4. You can play with like 3 or 4 people and you all fight together like that. Um,
Gauntlet.
PVE, I think it's
Gauntlet.
called. I think PVE, I think it's called. I think
Yep.
PvP,
PVE
I don't
makes
do that.
sense. Hmm.
Like me, I've just never been into that. I don't know. I can't explain it. Some people love it, not me. Like I couldn't play Call of Duty all the time or online or stuff like that. Even sports games, I don't play really online. I play single player.
Oh, okay. That's.
So
I feel it. We got one more ad to run, I think.
a few more actually.
Okay, do it.
Um, Not Your Average Janes is a girls travel softball league. Host Ken Fry hosted the back cave in Vegas sports scene. His daughter plays on the team. They're always looking for donations and sponsors uh, to help cover travel costs. Renting the field costs. Doing the lines on the field, equipment, and all that. Any donations will be greatly appreciated by them. So you can contact Ken Fry directly or Paul Spencer Out of the Box Sports to donate if you're interested in helping out. Thank you for your kindness, and the girls and organization greatly thank you in advance. So if you're just helping out, not your average Janes, like I said, contact Ken Fry, not your average Janes. So is there anything besides Street Fighter 6 you've been playing? I know you mentioned Katamari Reroll, which
Oh, it's
don't
it's
I
it's
don't
We
really play
Heart
that.
Katamari Reroll. Yeah.
You know,
So, this game is I I f- I don't want to oversell it for folks that play it and just go like, "Oh, this isn't for me." But it's kind of a healing experience
it's
playing this game.
relaxing, right?
It's very relaxing.
Which is good.
You're this little tiny green dude, and his dad, who's got a ginormous headpiece. His name is the King of all Cosmos, and the whole point of We Heart Katamari is that the first game was so awesome. Here's more,
I
and that's
remember
the
the first
plot.
game well.
The whole plot of We Heart Katamari is, oh, you remember that game, huh? Okay, here's more stuff,
Yep, and you
and
could
that's
do
it.
way more in it too.
Yeah, and there's way more in it. There's more music,
Yep.
and I will say that there is an additional mode, not mode, but additional purchase you can make with it that will
hmm
allow you to play both soundtracks
Oh, that's
of
pretty
both
cool.
games
That's pretty
on
cool.
We Heart Katamari.
That's pretty cool. So you could pick, we'll play both of them together, or just
Exactly. And
one
you
or the
can
other.
set your playlist to do what you want.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, especially if
Yeah.
you like the music in it, it's probably pretty solid. But basically, you're just rolling around picking stuff up. You know,
That you're rolling around picking
small
stuff
stuff,
up.
paper clips, like small stuff, and then it works up to bigger stuff like cars and
Cows and sumo
mailboxes,
wrestlers.
cows, probably gets up to like buses and buildings, and you just
Very
keep
much
going and
so.
going and going.
It's
It
so
sounds very
good.
relaxing. I like relaxing stuff like that.
It's relaxing, and you don't have to worry about any, like, when you play the original Katamari Damacy, there was a chance to lose,
Yep.
but you really don't have a chance to lose in We Heart Katamari. Like, they
Yeah, it's
give
just
you so much leeway to just have fun,
just roll
and
around.
that's what it's about.
Just roll here, roll here. Like me, I like that. Like me, I like playing stuff like that just because it's soothing. It's relaxing. It's not too difficult. It's something simple. And sometimes those games are the better games.
They are that I will say that this, in comparison to the PS2 original, this game pretty. It is pretty. I would definitely take a look at the screenshots, the videos,
Yep.
see it in motion. It's a pretty game, and it doesn't matter what console you get it for. You
It's
can get
on
it for the Switch,
Is
and
it
it's
on
still pretty.
PS4?
I don't know that it came out on PS4. I know it was PS5 and Xbox Series.
Okay, I'll have to see if I can find it and maybe check it out one day.
Yeah,
Because
it's good stuff. It really
just to
is.
mess
Both
around with it. I always
both
like to try
games
stuff.
Yeah, both games are good, but I definitely recommend We Heart Katamari Reroll.
Yep.
That's the one.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll have to take a look for that. Me, I'll probably be playing Diablo, but I eventually want to get a PS5. Like I said, play Final Fantasy 16.
Nice.
That's something I really want to play. Maybe I'll finally play some PlayStation because my PS4 Pro collects dust.
I think
So I was using Game Pass.
the only platinum that I've ever gotten on the PS4 was for Final Fantasy 15.
I have that. I have 15.
Yeah.
I haven't played a ton of it, but I do have it.
Oh, okay.
I
It's
think I
pretty
have it on
good.
Series X. I think.
Mm,
Yeah, it's not bad. I could get 16 is different. I think it's more like open fighting, like I don't know. I like 15, but I haven't like played a ton of it.
okay.
Like I said, the ones I played are the old ones on PS1. This
Right.
is my first experience with any Final Fantasy games.
So my love for Final Fantasy didn't come until 12. I
Yeah,
like
12
12 a
is
lot.
pretty good. 12 is good. 14 is good. I've heard. But some of them are different art styles. Some of them are different. Some of them I guess I don't know if they all follow the same storyline or some of them are branch off into different
No,
directions.
it's always different.
It's always different.
With
This one's
with the
different too.
exception of like d- completely derivative sequels, like usually like Final Fantasy X2 is obviously a derivative of X.
Yeah,
But like, but in general if it's a new number, it's a completely different story.
yeah, yeah. I got you. But like the thing is, like I think what I do a lot, like I can't say I bought a game. I'm always
Mm,
using subscription services. That's kind of how I play a lot of my games. Like
okay.
Game Pass for PC and console. All your first party
Okay.
exclusives come right to it. Another interesting thing they RPG they're gonna release is Fable. Who knows when it's gonna come out? That's another. They're
Right.
remaking Fable again, a brand new one. Uh,
Is Molyneux involved?
I'm not sure. I'm not. Me, I'm
I
not.
highly doubt. I highly doubt he would be, but
Yeah,
it's a
I
thought.
doubt it's a total. I think it's a totally different new Fable, like
Okay.
created from the ground up.
Okay.
That's what they've been having. They start having like the game showcases. There was a lot of indie games though, like a
Hmm.
lot of indie games with interesting art styles. There's also a new Like a Dragon coming out.
Right.
There's a brand new one, and the main character, I forget what character it is, but he's like wakes up like naked on a beach in
Hmm.
like America. He's like, "What is going on?" And that's like the only thing they showed of the preview because those Like a Dragon games are pretty good. Some people really like those.
There's a streamer on Twitch. He's actually I can't remember exactly his position at Obsidian, but his name
Yep.
is Mikey Dowling, and he runs Yakuza games, the Like a Dragon games, every Mondays. He calls it the Church of the Bicycle
It's interesting.
because he beats people with bicycles
Oh
all the
man,
time
the
in
stuff
those
you could
games.
do in those games is hilarious. Like you do like the
Yeah,
dance stuff, you could do like all fighting, it's all kinds of stuff. I was surprised how much stuff you could really do in those games.
yeah. He's it's fun to watch. I'll tell you that. I've tried to play it, but it's better for me to just watch it.
Yeah, like me, like some games I rather not play and just watch.
Yep.
Like something like that. I'd rather watch like you know Meiko plays Minecraft. I'd rather watch that than play it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
It's just too time consuming, and I'm like, all right, I want to go play something else with more action in it.
There you go. Completely
For
get it.
some people, it's relaxing. Me, I'd rather play Fallout 4 and build stuff, or something like you know.
I
So
wonder, you don't have a Switch, do you?
I don't have a Switch, but I thought about getting one because I want to play the new Zelda game.
That
The new
yeah,
Breath of
as
the
far as
Wild I heard is
construction
good.
goes, like there's a lot of construction in that game, so you would
Really
have a lot of fun. Yeah.
interesting.
There I be thankful that you haven't seen a ton of it. If
Nope.
you don't know what I'm talking about, there's definitely an ability in that game to construct things and have them move of their own volition.
Interesting.
and you can also control them, and it's its own thing. But like, if you get the opportunity, I highly recommend it. For me, I'm having trouble with the game. I'm bouncing off of it because there's too much stuff.
You get
Too much
overwhelmed.
stuff.
Like some people, like some games, they'll throw too much at you once. You're like, well, what do I do next?
Yeah.
Like, what do
You're
I
gonna
do
run into
next?
that with this game for sure.
Yeah, Street
And
Fighter
if
6, you don't run into that, but some games I've read, I watched a whole video about this kind of stuff, and the player gets overwhelmed. Sometimes you have too much stuff to do, and you don't
yeah.
know what direction. Like I'm like that with Monster Hunter. Like
Oh yeah, I tried
with
playing that
Monster Hunter,
game.
I'm like, well, what do I do next? I had no idea. Like, there's no like direction. You go any direction you want. I'm like, well, like what direction? At least like with like quests. Like you have
Yeah.
quests in Monster Hunter, but they're different than like other games. Like you have a quest, you go to the marker, you do what what's required, and then you keep going. Like me, I found it very overwhelming for some reason, even though it's probably not. There's just so much stuff to learn in a
Yeah.
game like that when I think it could be a little simpler.
I
Some
feel it.
games are a little. Some people like that complicated aspect, like Path of Exile, like that the RPG. Like it's way more complicated the way you have to respec your character. Because if you want to
Hmm.
respec your powers, you have to like. There's so many prerequisites you have to do in the first place. That's why
Sure.
some people don't like the Path of Exile because it's free, but it's a little more complicated than Diablo 4. But Diablo 4 is also a little complicated too. Me, I like it somewhat simple, not too complicated where you're like, well, what? Where it's too difficult. Some stuff is a little too complicated, in my opinion. But
Hmm.
decision of the designers and stuff like that.
I gotcha.
So I'm gonna go over our schedule real quick. Go
Yeah.
another 10 minutes or so. Out of the box sports entertainment weekly schedule. Obviously, us Joystick Junkies at 4 p.m. Even though we started at 4:30 today, uh, half hour late I think, but that's all right. We have Sully Squad coming up next at 6 p.m. With Joe Sullivan, Sully Squad. So Joe Sullivan, the host of that show, will talk about baseball and probably more Philadelphia sports. Big Blue Power Hour, 8:30. We're not going to be on tonight. We're going to be on next week because there's not a lot going on Giants wise. So we're going to be on next week at 8:30 p.m. And then obviously, again at 4:30 p.m. Joystick Junkies will be on. Tuesday extra innings. Wednesdays we got Batcave Ken Fry. Uh, uh, does Mets talk. We have College Football Frenzy, Den 215 boys. As you can see, we got everything for you. Also, we have a new show coming out the 16th of June, which is this week, and that is the Atomic Drop podcast, wrestling show, mostly classic wrestling. So join us for that, and definitely join us for Vegas Sports here at 10 p.m. And we have shows for everything for all kinds of sports. We're the only gaming show, but everything else, we got everything for you. So I know you're not as into sports as I am, Paul, but me, I love sports. Um, so, but was going to do a Giants podcast tonight, but we're going to do it
Hmm.
next week instead.
Okay.
So look forward to have a good show for everybody for the Giants. It's slow, 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 slow for NFL football right now, especially after OTAs. There's like nothing going on besides speculating stuff.
I
You
mean,
know,
it's June. It is June.
exactly, exactly. There's plenty to talk about, but when they have the mandatory stuff, where you have the mandatory players in there and they're required to be there, there's a little more going on. So gaming you can always do. I do it every week because I play games all the time. So
In my head right now, all I can hear is the opening to Joe Montana's Sports Talk Football
I actually
from the
play.
Sega Genesis.
I actually played that his football game like on like an emulator. I think it
Okay.
was Genesis emulator, a Sega
Yeah, it would
emulator
have to be.
on the PC. I was like, oh my goodness, like I didn't like I was horrible at it because I hadn't played stuff like that in so long. Like Tecmo Bowl and the old Maddens, like all that
Yep.
stuff is Genesis. That's where I
Yep.
played Mortal Kombat. I played on Genesis. That's where I first played Mortal Kombat. That's where I played Contra. Uh, As well. Contra was a big classic game I used to play.
That was Contra on the Genesis. Was the game was hardcore?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I liked it. I've played every version, a lot of versions of Contra. That was always one of my favorite ones. Dungeons and
Just
Dragons.
for those that have a Mister, this past week, Super Contra just got released as a beta core.
That's
So I've been
interesting.
playing a little bit of that. I don't know if you're familiar with the game at all, but I had an opportunity last night to test out a new core for the Mister called Juno First. It's an old 1983 Konami game.
Oh
It's
my goodness,
almost
that's
like a
old.
vertical defender.
Okay, I
Uh,
gotcha.
It's almost
Like
like a
a
vertical
tower
defender.
defender, kind of.
Not tower. Defender being the arcade game where
Oh, I know
you're
what you're
going
talking
side to
about.
side.
Yes, the side to
In
side
this
one.
case,
Yeah.
you're going up and down, and you're
Instead,
looking at a horizon line that's coming back and forth at you,
yeah.
depending
So
on
it's
what
the
you do.
opposite.
Yeah.
Instead,
Instead of it being horizontal, it's vertical. Yes.
yeah, yeah. In some games, the vertical or the horizontal side scrollers are probably the most popular. But
Mm,
when it's vertical, it's a little different. There, kind of changes it a
yeah.
bit. But
It's definitely it's an acquired taste, and I'm
yep,
getting there. Yep.
yep. And then one more thing before we close out. Outbox Sports Entertainment, a live streaming company for all your videos needs. If you want to do a podcast for yourself, start a podcast, banners, live feeds, we can make it happen for you. Contact Paul Spencer at 267-303-7324 or email Paul Spencer250 at iCloud.com. If you're interested in doing a stream, so we can offer that for you if you're interested in doing any type of stream. So just let us know. Anything else you want to say before we close out, Paul?
No, I just have
Anything
had
else
a
you're looking
really great
for?
time.
Nice. Yeah, me too. Thank you for
You
coming on. Talking
got
gaming.
it.
We'll have Evan back in a couple of weeks. So but definitely enjoyed talking about gaming, talking about Diablo 4. Even a lot, if you're some people haven't played that, and Street Fighter 6, which I want to go play. Um,
Yeah.
so thank you Evan for joining us, and everybody have a good night, and thank you Paul for joining me. All right, have a good
You
night,
got
man.
Take care, man.
Later.